and welcome to another episode of the Black and White Thinking Podcast. You are joined by Chik and G, which shouldn't be a surprise by now, because we've been doing this for, it's technically a few months now.
Yeah.
Look at us. Hey!
Hello.
How are you this week?
I'm okay. Was at the doctor today.
Getting checked for all your ailments,
Yeah.
old man.
Got some blood taken, which I hate. But it was fine-ish.
Which arm was it?
Right arm.
Oh, unlucky for me.
Why?
Because I'm not going to be next to you and poke you. This is the only time I ever sit to your right-hand side. Oh, unless we were in the car and I was driving. I didn't know. I should have asked before.
And how are you this week?
Yay, you remembered! I was like, he's not going to ask again, is he? You did. I'm all right, thanks. I've got a headache and we've had a really nice little afternoon out.
Yeah.
But my head just hurts and...
I gave you a wee pool lesson.
You did. I enjoyed that. I think I'm just a bit stressed out because I had to go and record for a client in front of people in the main street. So I think that wasn't fun as well. But other than that, yeah, I'm good. Fabulous. All right, so this week's topic, bride price. Hey, good one for you, especially because at some point this is going to be relevant to you.
Oh, I'll not be paying anything?
Excuse you, yes you will. You 100% will.
See how the exchange rate is.
We'll see. Right, so for those of you that aren't familiar with bride price, let me read out the definition. Bride price is a sum of money or quantity of goods given to a bride's family that by that of the groom in some tribal societies. Zambia would be one of those tribal societies. Now, is there a difference between a bride price and a dowry? Let me just have a look. It says dowry contrasts with the related concept of bride price. While bride price or bride service is a payment by the groom or his family to the bride and her family, dowry is wealth transferred from the bride. Oh,
okay.
Didn't know that.
There you go.
That's interesting. So, no dowry.
I'm all for dowry then.
Definitely no dowry coming your way. But bride price. Woo. So actually, I guess my first question to you is, how do you feel coming into a culture that has a bride price? Because as much as we can joke, this is genuinely a conversation that we are going to have when we start the process of getting married, aka once we're engaged. Because, so technically, again, just for a little bit of knowledge, the way that this would work in Zambia, for example, would be that because I know G wants to get married to me, he would send a representative to my parents or their representative, and there would basically be our son wants to marry your daughter. Do you think she's going to say yes? And then they come to me and go, just so that there's no like confusion or embarrassment or whatever on the boy's part as well. Do you want to get married to him? And then I'll go, yeah, I actually do. So really, the proposal isn't really a surprise, which to me anyway, my proposal wouldn't be a surprise because I know you want to marry me, but the proposal itself will be a surprise because I won't know when it's coming. So the steps are supposed to be that make it clear what your intentions are, and then start with the traditions of then serve it. Like, I think the first thing they do, I might be wrong here, is like take a plate, and a plate then involves some form of money. But the bride price itself then is what you will pay my parents for me to become your wife. Now, the caveat to that is supposed to be that as a basically the more educated I am and the better I've been brought up, the more expensive I am. So I think you've done quite well. I've got a master's, I've got a business, I've got a home. I don't need a man. I want you. You would have to pay quite a lot of money. So coming into that culture, how does it make you feel?
Culture doesn't really translate to a lot of pounds, does it?
Well, no, I could ask for it in pounds because we live in the UK. Excuse you.
But who decides the amount?
Well, you come to us with this is what, or your representatives will go, okay, he's offering £10,000, and my family or me and my family would go, no, I'm worth way more than that, or yeah, that's about right.
It sounds like a scheme set up so the middleman can make money.
But the middlemen only get a fraction of that. It's the parents that get it, and depending on the families. Now, my family's different because my dad didn't really have to pay much. They went by what he had because again, it's in my family. It's more about the gesture of, and again, not the selling the daughter. It's the, for example, if you were doing it, it would be taken as we appreciate everything you've done to get your daughter to this point of being so independent and the person I
Or
love.
is it making up for the fact that they will no longer have a live-in servant?
Well, that too in some cultures, but mine, like I said, I'm going from my culture, and my
You
culture is
know, but
different.
probably the same though. To make
Yeah,
up for
that
the
too.
fact that they don't have someone in the house to do all the chores that people don't
Yeah,
want to do.
yeah, that too.
I feel like there's no way it can be spun positively.
I get where you're coming from. However,
Because essentially, dress it up whatever way you like. They're selling their child. They're selling their daughter to a man for an agreed price, which is weird to begin with.
so that goes back to my question: how do you feel coming into a culture that does that? And the fact that I would have an expectation of the symbolism, but not the money.
Yeah, that's fine. Like the symbolism of it's fine
Mm,
in that it's a tradition that would be done as a gesture of goodwill, I guess. But I imagine that wasn't always the case, and that if someone didn't have enough or the family deemed it insufficient,
mm.
then it wouldn't happen,
Yeah,
which
that's
is a
also true.
weird to make it transactional in that way. So, like, it's not that I don't imagine your mum and dad are going to enforce a price,
No.
whereas maybe still today there are families that would enforce a price. If that price isn't met, then their commodity cannot be sold,
Yeah, and you see that across Asian
which is
cultures.
weird.
But it's also not that the commodity can't be sold. Like I said, I guess there are different ways to look at it. There's a way you're looking at it, which again, you're completely right that it's a commodity. But let's strip this back and go back to the roots of the tradition.
In that it symbolizes ownership.
Marriage, that's what marriage was. Marriage was a
Yeah.
contract between two families. It wasn't two people falling in love and happily ever after. It was a contract between two families saying, okay, one of you has something we want, one of you has something we want. Let's swap a bit of that. But also for peace, whatever it is, we're now going to become families. So we are now one. But to do that, this is a business transaction. And that's what it always was. That was marriage.
Yeah, but it's not now. So the fact that it still exists probably in the same way that it did to when it began in some places with Western eyes, it's weird
Mm,
because it's not a case of ownership anymore.
yeah.
Isn't that like the wedding ring thing and all? Isn't there something to do with that being like essentially a transfer of ownership from one man to another man?
Yeah.
Which is a weird concept anyway. Um, like I get that, like I get the, I guess in our circumstance it would be done as a gesture,
Mm,
but I imagine there are still places today where this is going on where if the price isn't met,
mm.
then the wedding won't go ahead. And I suppose nowadays in countries like Zambia, people do get together because they love each other and want to marry each other for that reason, but they're still then bound by this archaic system of pay up or it's not happening.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it, and to be fair, because I also grew up with a Muslim friend and Muslim friends when I got to college, so I've also seen how that's done in, because I guess my Muslim friends weren't also just Asian, like there were different types of Muslims, but I've seen it done in that sense as well. So I think it's also dependent on the families because, like I said, my mum and dad were never made to do it in that way. But I have seen girls that would turn around and say, I'm not getting anything less than £10,000. That's your prerogative. Okay, like there would be people that for the wed, like they'll as part of the bride price, cows, cattle in general, like there'd be things that would be symbolic of the tribe and how those people live. So, for example, my cousin was given a load of cows, but those cows are also very expensive. And when I started looking at how much, when you break down the cost of that cow if it's going to be sold on, absolutely incredible. But she wasn't being bought. However, that transaction for them was also the start of like their business and business life. So it was almost like rather than it be we're selling our daughter to this person, it was they now have what is needed to get started with another form of income that, like in Western culture, it would be investment stocks, all that type of stuff. But that's an investment into her and vice versa. Does that make sense the way I'm saying it?
Yeah, but traditionally the bride wouldn't have got the money, right?
But it depends on how families work.
No,
So in
but
some families would have given the daughter the money and said, you keep that for yourself in case anything goes wrong. Some cultures would turn around and say, no, that's for the family. So some older cultures would have gone, that is like for the parents, whatever else. But I guess it also goes, it depends on the family, the culture.
yeah, so if it's a poorer family, they're not going to give any of that money away, are
Yeah,
they?
probably.
They've lost a worker.
Yeah. But do they ever completely lose a worker? Because I know we joke about my family, but you joke about like me being the PA, whatever else. But look at my circumstance. As a daughter, you ever done? No.
So how does it feel then as a woman for somebody to say, this is how much you're worth?
That's kind of what I'm getting to. That my work as a daughter is never going to be done, no matter what is done. So
Yeah, but somebody decides that this monetary value is your value.
one,
And you have no say in that, I imagine.
yeah, I was going to say one. If I don't have a say, I'm not the type of person to accept that. I don't like that. My whole thing has been explain the culture to me, teach me about the meanings, and if the meaning resonates with who I am as a person, I will then do the symbolic gesture. But that's why I don't expect thousands of pounds from you.
You
It might be,
anyway.
excuse you, if you had thousands of pounds, I'm sure you would give thousands of pounds. But it might be a pound
Yeah,
in
that's what I mean.
a pound in a plate. But that's it. Because to me, it's not about you're not buying me. You respect me enough to know I'm my own person, but I respect myself enough to know I'm my own person. And in that symbolism, if I had no choice and I had a say, and you were coming to me saying, "Oh, sorry, no, because you won't be coming to me. You'd be going to my parents," and you were saying, "All right, I'll give you guys £10,000." The way I understand it in my culture, I would still go to my parents and be like, yes or no, again, depending on the parents. Now, if these are parents that are poor, that have a scarcity mindset, don't particularly care, they might do that. But I expect in my family it would be, I'm not worth just £10,000. Excuse that. I want more. However, whilst I think I am worth more than that, because I am very educated, I am my own person, I don't believe you can quantify how much a person is worth. Because the things I do, the person I am, that can't be quantified. The things you do, the person you are, that can't be quantified. So really, I expect that in the symbolism of you telling my parents that you want to get married, all you need to do is make sure that you are consistent as a partner. You hear me, you love me. Like that's how I'd quantify, have you met your end of the bargain? So it's not that it's going to be financial, it's going to be in how you live your day-to-day life. Because again, I've seen it where people pay a stupid amount and then they treat the partner like crap.
Yeah.
And when they treat the partner like crap, it's like, oh, but he's got money. You've heard stories in my family. Oh, but he's paying for XYZ, they've got money, blah, blah, blah. And they accept terrible behaviour because of what someone can bring financially.
Suppose if I were to do it, I would do it in Clutch anyway, because it looks more right.
For all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose looking at it, like if I had a daughter, it would feel very odd to put a price on her.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't think there's an argument for it still to exist in terms of putting a price on somebody, which, from what you said, it could be thousands and thousands of pounds. Like, first of all, what pressure on a man or a family to come up with that money? Perhaps historically, where in a country where the vast majority of the country probably didn't have that much to give.
But that's also the point of the bride prices. That shows the status of someone. Therefore, if you are going to pay something and it's going to be a substantial amount, that shows that your family, again, because this was a contract that looked at both families. This isn't just looking at how much you can give. This shows what your family is capable of doing, what you are capable of doing as a man. Because let's not forget, this is also an old construct of a man provides, the woman stays at home. That's not who we are.
Yeah.
So I guess if you were thinking about it in terms of that and we had a kid, no matter what, I think the way that we do things will always, what's the best way to say this? I don't think me and you are the type of person that will ever follow culture in a blind way. There will always be a reasoning behind why we do some of those things. But in doing them, it's with the understanding that we are not a traditional couple. In everything that we do and where we sit with our feminine and masculine energy and where we sit with our home, we don't fit into that construct in the first place. So by that, we would have always been the type of people to marry for love anyway, rather than go through, do you know what I mean?
I met some old broad with millions of pounds who wanted to put me in her will, then sign me up. But I suppose in that vein, then how many people didn't get together or couldn't be with the person they would have liked to have been with because they didn't have any money?
Yeah.
Like, it's sad.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think, it just seems very outdated. And it seems, in a way, some sort of scheme whereby these middlemen could skim a few quid off the top.
Yeah, because for that they're doing a job. And that job needs to get paid.
If it's a representative from either side, rather than like one representative going to parents, then they could just be inflating the price. You know, if they're getting a percentage, it just seems open to like that aspect of it too, where these two men can just bump up the price and line their pockets.
But I guess that's why the person that's chosen has to be a close family, like friend / member. So, for example, on your side, no matter what, it would have always been Unc. On my side,
that doesn't necessarily guarantee transparency.
No, it
honesty.
doesn't. Yeah, it's true.
When people are confronted, again, in a country where they might not have much, with the possibility of getting thousands of pounds, do you not think they're going to take that opportunity?
That's true.
To that end, again, how many people have then lost out because of greedy middlemen?
That's true, but also think about it in a slightly different way, that because you're focused on the fact that sometimes these are countries where people aren't well off. Look at it on the flip side, that this is happening across the world, whether people are rich, whether people are poor. It's just that what they have to bargain with.
Well, even more
they're
so
two
then,
different things.
If it's a country or families where people are wealthy, then to me it's even more likely that the middlemen are going to skim a few dollars off the top.
Yeah.
So I don't think have or have not really matters. I just think in a situation like that where it's probably done behind closed doors and there is a chance to line your pockets, I feel like people are going to do that, aren't they? And I don't think family guarantees that you're free from that, particularly where it might be more of a scenario where somebody doesn't have money.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just all seems very open to exploitation,
Yeah.
and it smacks of like ownership of a person,
Yeah.
which I don't think anybody has the right to.
Yeah.
And it seems incredibly old fashioned, and I don't know, to me it takes focus off what it should really be about,
Yeah.
and puts focus on money.
Yeah. I agree.
Like I know money comes into it and finances come into things, but it puts such a weird focus on that before you've even got anywhere, like anywhere near agreeing that these two people can get married.
Yeah.
It seems like whether or not they want to is irrelevant. It's whether or not money can be put forward.
Well, I guess the slightly different part to that is this all doesn't happen at once. So, for example, your representative goes to see your intention. So, before all of this, a god family will always ask the daughter first, and she will say yes or no. So, I know for a fact that, like, someone approached my grandparents when one of my aunties was younger and went straight to my grandparents, and they were like, what do you, because they were expecting, they came from a family that was a bit more old fashioned, and they were expecting that my grandparents would make the decision. They were like, she can think for herself. And she was like, absolutely not. And it turns out that that person would have been a terrible person to marry, but she didn't like the fact that he thought it was okay to go behind her back and they could manipulate a situation. So again, I think there are two sides to that coin of, if it's done right in the way that I think it should be, you will always get from the girl whether she wants to get married or not, and that shows how the family is. But no matter what, I think personally, I'm not for the bride price, because everything I've said so far indicates that we wouldn't be doing that. You're not going to be paying for me. There might be a symbol of like a pound, a 1p, but like you said, you're not buying me. You can't put a price on my worth. I can't put a price on my worth.
Priceless.
Exactly, I'm priceless. But there you go. But that's how I feel like the person I marry, obviously you, should feel like I am priceless, and no matter what, there would be nothing that could ever sum up in a quantifiable way what I'm going to bring to your life. Because look at me now, I'm only just refinding who I am, and what's that going to do? It's going to make me better as a person, better in business, and all that. That makes me better then. So by that, I'm going to be worth more anyway. So surely you should treat me based off of a love and respect of the fact that no matter what, you can't put a number on. Because I also think there's a dangerous precedence of you put a number towards someone, and I can see men going, oh, I'm not getting my money's worth. Well, what do you think your money's worth is? Because if that guy is expecting that the woman's going to be cooking, cleaning, doing all the things I refuse to do and don't want to do, straight away, from what I understand, that gives him a reason to take her back to her family and be like, this isn't working. So I think there are grey areas, there are ways that it could easily be manipulated, and I do think it's an old construct. But the symbolism of you showing my parents that you understand that I am priceless, and you will do whatever you can to make sure that I am happy, I am loved, I am looked after, that's the part I care about. That's the part I need you to understand and want my partner to understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a cultural tradition.
Yeah.
That symbolically you would like to demonstrate, but in terms of the ins and outs of it all, it's I feel like it shouldn't exist. And
yeah.
But again, people and money and greed, and I feel like in societies where it has existed will continue to exist for a long time.
Yeah.
But if it were up to me, and I guess that's the point of this, is that I would totally get rid of it and it not even be a thing. Like, fine, do the back and forth where they go between of these are my intentions, whatever, yay or nay. Fine, but take the money out of it. I feel like it cheapens the whole thing.
Yeah. I guess that's where, if this was like a grey area thing, I would always, that for half of these things we pick, we've done traditions, we've done marriage, we've done this now. All of those I find I'm always in the grey area. So when I have to pick one, obviously I've picked and I don't agree with it. But again, on my end, us creating new traditions, us having a new culture, when it comes to us having kids, will I want to teach them about all this? Of course I will.
Well, then take a plate of Monopoly money.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm saying £1 or
Yeah.
like 1p. So,
but no, not even real currency. Make it totally symbolic and use Monopoly money.
Oh, we don't have Monopoly money.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually, for us, can we do that? I actually really like the idea of that.
To buy Monopoly and...
No, as in, we can even just have a little arts and craft night and just cut up some paper and put on some, like, gibberish. Because again, for me, like I said, so am I saying that I'm for bride price then? I feel like I'm saying I'm against it, but we're doing it. But we're doing it in a different way.
No, but we're not doing it. You're doing a symbolic gesture that represents that simply because it's a cultural tradition and probably because your parents would like some of those cultural traditions kept and demonstrated simply because it's a tradition.
Do you know what? That's where I'd be a devil's advocate and say they haven't taught me enough for me to be able to say. They've influenced me enough. I think this is mostly my own choice.
Well, you think that?
Yeah, true. I can think that, but I genuinely do think when I've sat and thought about it, whatever they expect, I don't know what their expectations are, but the bride price one is one that I know that I want us to do, and that's why I'm saying when you said about the Monopoly money.
Yeah, but think about why you want it, because you've been brought up to think that it's an act, like it's a thing that should be done.
No,
it's like any tradition.
No, I want to do it because I want you to show that you understand I am priceless, and I might as well be the rarest gemstone on this earth. That those symbols, I suppose, speak to me in a sense of the things that make me as a person, is it insecure, whatever, what I'm looking for out of a partner. That symbol on its own shows that you have thought more than just about a wedding and just about the short term of it. It shows me that you as a person have thought about how much I mean to you. So if you think about how much I mean to you, and you're doing that from a place of understanding and going to my parents, that's you showing you understand I am the creme de la creme. Out of everyone you could have chosen in this world, you have chosen me. And in those vows, because again, like the guy wouldn't go and ask for permission. Like I said, we do it slightly differently. So in your culture, it would be, these are my intentions. In ours, it's completely different. But people can lie about their intentions. People can lie about whatever. But for me, bride price particularly is, you understand the things that trigger me / I'm looking for out of a partner. This happens to be something that just symbolizes, that has a good symbolic meaning. That's why I want to do it, not because.
But it doesn't have a good symbolic meaning. And for argument's sake, if you had only heard about this from a culture other than your own, would you bring it into your life from outside?
Well, after some research. I'd have to do research first. But that's you making an assumption.
No, but if you had only heard of this concept, would you adopt it?
Not just from hearing it, like I'm saying, I would do some research. So I would learn from people. If it
was outside of your cultural traditions, would you adopt this practice?
I might do, yeah. Well, it's outside of my cultural traditions to live with someone, and yet here I am doing it.
No, I know, but
So
the only reason you're saying you want this done is because of the cultural and traditional link to it.
no, it just happens to be there's a cultural and traditional link that fits perfectly, but I want to do it because I do think I am an amazing person. I think I have so much to give,
Be that as it may,
and you will show that you understand that.
would you adopt this practice were it not for it being part of tradition? Because if not, then surely you can't be for doing it at all.
But that's why I'm saying I might do. Like, it's such a complicated one because, like I'm saying, the symbolism versus actually going out and doing the practices. So the way it's done in my culture, there ends up with music, drummers, men preaching, women preaching, whatever else.
I feel like you just don't want to say no.
And it's not that I don't want to say no. I mean, it's not a straightforward yes or no. Because would I take on a Chinese tradition without understanding it? No, I wouldn't. I want to understand it first and then go, that's just an example.
Yeah, but arguably you wouldn't take on anyone else's traditions. But the point of this is either for it or against it, i.e., yes, keep it, or no, get rid of it entirely. So,
but by the fact we're going to do this, I'm not saying get rid of it entirely. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. So, do I agree that there should be a price put on a woman? Absolutely not. However,
so by that logic, then you say get rid of bride price?
Well, no, because you're not putting a price on me.
No,
you're symbolically giving them a wad of cash,
we're talking about bride price globally. We're not just talking about what we are going to do. We are talking about the concept of bride price.
But the concept of bride price, by some...
Because what we're doing isn't that.
But my dad only gave a little bit of money because he didn't have much money.
No, but he still did it. So what we are doing isn't that. What we are doing isn't paying a bride price. We are doing a symbolic gesture that hints at understanding and appreciating Zambian traditions as someone coming into a Zambian family. So that's not bride price. The concept of bride price is totally different from what we are doing. So what I'm saying is what we are doing is nothing really to do with bride price.
But it isn't the fact that you're telling my parents, you understand they've put a lot of hard work into making me the person I am today.
Yeah, but
that is a bride price. I am worth, let's say we were doing it the traditional way, and I said to you, right, my parents want £10,000.
And I said, I don't have that.
Yeah, you might not have that, but then I'd go, okay, then we'll wait until you've raised £10,000 to give to my parents. Because by what you're saying, it's also you understanding that I am of some worth. Because don't forget, the whole point of bride price is some people would not pay for some women. You are paying because you understand my value as a woman as well, in the sense of I have been brought up in a good home. I can cook, clean, look after myself. I am independent. I have gone to school. I have gone to uni. I have been highly educated, and I now run a business. So by that, that's you going and saying, I understand all of those points. So it is my pleasure to start a home with your daughter because she brings so much to the table. Do you understand that part?
Yeah, but that's not what we're doing.
But you're doing it just with fake money.
Yeah, but it's still simply a nod to an appreciation of a Zambian tradition.
Yeah, but I think you're missing the fact that it's not just a nod to Zambian tradition. It's a nod. It's an acknowledgement. But also, I still come into this.
Yeah, but globally, the concept of paying a price for a bride, you're happy to keep that? Or do you think it should be got rid of entirely? One or the other. No caveats, no qualifying by what we are doing.
Okay, by qualifying by what we're doing, if we go by the literal definition of what it's supposed to be, again, it's a transaction between two families to show the worth of a woman.
That's not what it shows.
But that's what it's supposed to be. People have twisted it and taken it out of term. But it's supposed, like I said, it's supposed to show the value of how a woman's been brought up. Because in the past, women wouldn't have been educated. Women wouldn't have been given the opportunities that, for example, I have had. So going by the literal definition of what it's supposed to be, not what it's been turned into, not what some families seem to want to do across the pond, across wherever, by that definition, I don't think there's ever a quantifiable amount, but by cultural traditions, I do think.
You're qualified.
What?
You're qualified.
All right, then I say keep the bride price. But you're looking at it in terms of what it is today. No, but you're looking at it in terms of what it is today. I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it as you as a man understand, because again, if we're going to start a home, and this, I'm just speaking generically, if a man and a woman are going to start a home, he also needs to have a level of respect for her. Is a man going to pay £20,000 for someone he's just going to cheat on and do crap with?
Yes.
Some would.
Yeah.
Some wouldn't. But there's a thought process to that. If you turn around and you say that you love me, but you do not have £10,000 right now to get married,
what if I said, I'm just not paying it?
Then that's on me to decide, do I want to marry you or not? Because some people do go through this right now.
Yeah, but really, all it was is to show that this person we are giving our daughter to has money.
But it wasn't just that this person has money. If we delve deeper into it, again, I'm not someone that I couldn't tell you from start to finish exactly what it means. But what I'm saying is, you as a man will be starting a home with a woman, and you turn around and say, I do not have X amount that you're looking for. So, for example, my dad was told, you are not good enough to marry our daughter, and he waited 7 years. And what did he do in those 7 years? He made himself better. He got more educated. He got into a good job. He started to build himself up. Again, my family might have only taken a little bit of money because they saw it. Versus some other members of the family who have had bride prices paid and haven't been looked after. So I think if you strip it all down to genuinely what it's supposed to be and the appreciation of how a woman's been brought up and the fact that a man that genuinely loves you will show that in different ways. Do I agree that there should be a monetary amount put on it? No, I don't. But on the understanding of a man understanding what he's bringing into his home completely. Because I think men take the mick all the time. And if there's nothing for them to lose, they've got nothing to think about. It's just even more of, let me just keep pretending that I'm this person. But again, you're right. I've seen it on the other side where they have had the money and they have mistreated someone. So it's not just as simple as going, is this something that should be or shouldn't be done? Because you've then got...
No, but that's the point of this.
I know that's exactly the point. I know that's the point of this, but if we strip it down to everything and go, if it's a man that...
I think you're romanticizing it in that this is a man showing what he thinks of a woman. I don't think that's got anything to do with where it comes from. Where it comes from is, we are selling you our daughter. We want as much money as we possibly can get so that we can sell our daughter for the highest price to the highest bidder.
But it wasn't always done like that. But it wasn't. It has been done like that, and I'm not refuting that.
I bet you that's where it comes from. I feel like you've romanticized it in the way that you romanticize things.
Rather than looking at it
about a man showing what he thinks of a woman. I would put good money on it that's got nothing to do with it. And it was simply a way of, a family has lost a worker. They want to get as much money as they can to replace that worker, i.e. their daughter, who let's face it, probably would have been doing the chores and the cleaning and cooking and washing, possibly babysitting. They're losing that from the house.
Right. I get you. Listen to this. So I've just googled where did it come from. So apparently they think it's actually older than a dowry as well. So over 3,000 years old. The bride price is an official custom that expresses the love a husband has for his wife.
No.
Listen, for the parents of the wife, the bride price symbolizes a reward and honor. Without payment of the bride price, marriages are not recognized in some cultures. So a man loving a man that doesn't love a woman isn't going to pay a stupid amount. Again, I don't like the thinking of for her because she's not she can't be quantified. But it goes back to my thing of if me and you met, like I said, there are people I know of our generation who will still tell their partner, I expect you to give my parents money. That's not me. However, I still believe you should know you're winning the jackpot. You should understand and tell my parents I'm winning the jackpot, and then we live happily ever after.
So you, in 2024, are for women being sold to a man?
No, I'm not for women being sold to a man because, like I said, as a daughter, you've seen as soon as a daughter leaves a home, I'm the firstborn daughter. My duties are never ever going to be done. So it's not that she's sold on and that's it. She never has to do anything for her parents. That's just a temporary monetary thing. It carries on both ways because she's then building her own home. She's still supporting her parents. There are people I'm aware of who, for example, will then buy a home that's big enough to live with her parents. Would we do that? No, we wouldn't.
I would.
What, live with my parents? Have them in an annex in the back, give them a home.
There you go.
I think there are some of those traditions that it's easy to look at it in black and white without some of the nuances. And whilst we are talking about black and white thinking, I know you're saying make a decision. The bride price, you are aware of it from a man's buying a woman from her father. But we are going to get married. We are going to do some traditional things. If you didn't believe in all of that to some extent, you would not be doing it.
I don't believe in any of it. It would be done out of respect.
No, but the marriage part.
What do you mean?
We will be getting married.
Yeah.
And if you didn't believe in that.
No, but that's a separate thing. Like, I don't believe in any of those, like, any traditions per se, just for the sake of it.
Which kind of proves my point that a man that really loves a woman will do some things that he doesn't want to do. You don't really care about the marriage because it's a piece of paper.
No, I don't care about weddings.
All right, the wedding. All right, but you care about the marriage.
Yeah.
But by most of what we will do on the wedding day to get the paper, me changing my, I know you don't want me to, like, you're not asking me to change my name, but all of that is still going down an old traditional route. However, the one that we're currently looking at wasn't just about you going to the highest bidder, because you can't tell me that for thousands of years, every father and mother haven't loved their daughter enough to think about who they're sending her to.
I still feel like if they offered enough, they wouldn't care.
But that's you making an assumption.
It
is
probably an accurate one, though. Are you telling me in the countries where this originated, or countries where this was practiced, there'd be a level of money that was offered where parents would go, yep, take her now.
But you're also forgetting this wasn't just done. This was all like this is also done in Western cultures, not just poor people.
I said, in countries where this is practiced,
yeah,
there's a level of payment where parents would go, oh, take her now. Give us the money, take her now.
But no one, unless you are a stupidly wealthy person, no one has that kind of money.
I know, but I'm saying there is a point where it gets to where someone goes, I'm offering you this. They'd be like, here's your bags, See you later.
And some might, but that's my point of, but you can't say that every parent practices this thinking, I'm just going to send my child out into a home where she's going to be abused and mistreated and whatever else. If anything, looking at this says, well, honor and what? Reward symbolizes a reward and honor. So if people
are... for what? Doing what they're supposed to do?
But it's not just doing what they were supposed to do. Parents...
Reward for what?
After a certain age, did I have to go to uni? No, I didn't have to go to uni.
But a reward for what?
How they brought their daughter up. So my parents could have brought me up until I was leaving school, and I could have decided, I'm not going to go to uni, I'm not going to do all those things. Me choosing to go to uni, me choosing to do a master's, adds even more onto that. So that shows that after a particular age, once I was grown, I've still been making decisions that have made me even more expensive, in inverted commas. So that's where the reward is. That a man will come and say, geez, Michael, geez, Walia, you've really done a great job here with your daughter. Therefore, I will give you 10 cows, or I will give you £10,000. But there has to be a fairness in that, because again, we can easily talk about how people can be dishonest, can be thinking about money. If this is stripped down to what it's supposed to be, in the olden days, it was
selling your daughter to the highest bidder.
That's how some people would look at it, but I don't look at it that way, because I would like to think that a lot of parents, most parents, wouldn't be thinking of it as we are selling our daughter. That most parents would be looking at it as we have to let our daughter go, because at some point she has to leave the house, but she's going to a good home. She's going to a good person, a person that values her enough to... Yes, I don't like the symbolism, because again, I've said, I don't think you can equate how much I am worth, because I am priceless. However, a man that loves you, that doesn't have £10,000 and suddenly works really hard, spends the next 10 years, comes back with £10,000, I think, yes, maybe that's me romanticizing things, but that's me going, I think that is romantic. That is you going, I get it. But I don't agree that there should be a money put. So again, we are still doing this. It's just that your money's fake. Your money's priceless. Because it's your intentions. And that's what it is.
So that to me is the very height of us saying, yeah, we don't agree with bride price, so we're not going to do it.
But that's me saying, we're doing bride price.
But we're not.
Alright then, I want you to give £1.
No.
You're not going to give £1?
No.
Well, we'll see when all this starts to happen. Because if that's the way that then you're going towards it, I don't think it's quantifiable. But if that's how you're looking at it in terms of black and white...
Well, you just quantified it as £1.
Well, I've quantified it as £1 because I think I am priceless.
It's a bit one of those wee things you put in a trolley that weighs the same as £1.
No, it would have to be £1. You've just made this more difficult for yourself. I could turn around and say, alright, £10. So if anything, then I do apparently still think that. Yeah. So yes, I am for it with pure intentions. Without pure intentions, abolish it.
No, that's sitting on the fence.
Alright, I'm for it with pure intentions.
No. You've qualified it.
But how can you not qualify something like... It's like traditions and culture.
Yeah. Get rid.
And marriage. Because again, the construct of marriage is a contract between two people.
Yeah.
It's not about love. Marriage wasn't ever about love.
Well...
Let's go back to the start of it. It wasn't about love.
Well, we don't know.
But we've got a good idea, and we've got Google. When you hear about where marriage came from, everything down to... Look, the engagement ring. You said yourself, that is the symbol of, I'm owned by someone. My dad walking me down the aisle would be, so I don't run away. So the marriage, getting married, to show you are married, none of that is good. And yet we're going to be doing it. So this is where I'm saying it's very, like, it's really difficult because you have to think of everything stripped down to exactly what its meaning was.
Seems like the patriarchy's got you right where it wants you.
And it might do.
Yep.
But I still do think, coming from a culture where I want to be treasured, I want someone to know what I bring to the table. If there's no other way for you to show that, and the only way you can show it is by coming up with a sum of cash, of course. Because I know, again, as a person, you could be sat here telling me your intentions. Now I know that you, for example, live by your intentions every day. You do the little things for me every single day that show me that this is for the long haul. However, not everyone's like that, and some people would do these things up until they're married. Things do change. So again, I think it's easy to look at it in such clear terms, but forget that your intentions to get married are supposed to be good intentions in the first place. So why would you be doing anything out of malice?
Still.
You can't say still. I've got a point, don't I?
Well, no.
How?
Because you're still saying that the concept of bride price should still exist.
The concept of bride price in terms of what it originally means and what I've done, what we've talked about here, the concept should still exist in the sense it is someone saying, do you understand the woman that's going to be in your home and how valuable she is as a person? Not valuable monetary, but valuable in terms of who she is. Does that part make sense?
No, because that's not what it says.
But that is what it is.
If it wasn't about the monetary, then there would be no money involved.
No, but that's why there is money involved, to see who's being serious versus who isn't being serious.
Yeah,
but that's why you get dishonest people. But we're ignoring that part. Because that's a nuance. But if we strip it down to, do you see what she brings to the table? It's a clear yes or no.
That's not what it's about.
But it is what it's about.
Right back, it's about who's got money.
But it's not about who's got money. Because a family might turn around and go, you are poor, we get you poor, but you're willing to give us a cow. You're willing to wait 10 years until you've got enough for a cow. That shows you really love our daughter. Would someone wait 10 years to provide bride price, to provide anything if they do not love someone?
Probably not nowadays.
Probably not. But even back then, Dad waited 7 years. And people said, why would you wait 7 years? What is the point in this? So, going by that, and in terms of my family and how it's been done, can you see how it's about an intention? Oh, it's supposed to be about an intention, sorry. Not it's about an intention, because again, some people can lie.
I still don't agree, and I think it shouldn't exist and it should be gotten rid of entirely.
That's fine, we can disagree.
Yeah, we can.
So it'll be interesting to see whether now we go down the monopoly money route or the pound route.
We shall see.
We shall see. Anything I see now that's got to do with like bride price or whatever else. Because I also know that you do think of things very much in terms of it being very black and white. So for you, this is also that nuance of thinking about things with an open mind and looking at things from a different point of view. How you've been brought up is completely different to how I've been brought up. Not saying that I agree that women should be sold, because women should not be sold.
Sounds like it.
That's not what I'm saying.
Sounds like it.
I'm saying a man should have the right intentions.
Then you should get rid of bride price.
Well, no, because you should have the right... How else is a family supposed to know, or a woman supposed to know, of your intentions? Otherwise, tell us.
I mean, is it any of their business to begin with? In the modern world in which we live.
But it's my business.
Yeah.
So let's ignore the families.
So you need to know.
So ignoring the families, how do I know what your intentions are of me?
What do you mean? Because I told you.
Yeah, but just saying it doesn't mean you're going to look after me. We lived together because I didn't want to be duped into marrying someone that was then going to turn around and be like, oh, actually, that person that was showing you that was all a lie. That's why I live with you. Is that against culture and religion? Yes, it is. But have I done that knowing I needed to make sure that I was choosing you because you showed me your intentions? Yeah. So I, let's say, score you every day.
You already know.
So I already know what.
My intentions. So you don't need a monetary payment.
But that's what I'm saying. That I don't subscribe to it in the sense of you would give £10,000. Otherwise, I've told you right at the beginning. By the way, I believe in this part of the culture. You need to have 10, 15, £20,000, whatever it's going to be, or buy me a car, or buy them a car. Do you know what I mean? Buy them a house. That type of crap.
So you don't believe in it, but you would keep it?
I'd keep what?
Bride price?
No, I'm saying I don't believe in it in the sense of selling someone on. I believe in showing your intentions. And for me, bride price, stripped back, genuinely is about showing someone's intentions. And that's how I've been brought up. But you're saying no because that's what you think. But again, you're coming from a place of what you've seen on TV. So you can say that I've been indoctrinated by culture, my family, whatever else. But you've been indoctrinated by the stuff that you've seen about the Western world, about different cultures. But why is this still practiced? It's practiced for a reason. There are some things within cultures, but it's not just about money. It's not. Because do you think that if my dad gave £10, what's £10 gonna buy anyone? Or was gonna buy whatever it is.
I think
example.
in anything we can all find individual examples that defy a norm. But globally speaking, as in the concept as a whole, it's simply about money.
But you're talking globally speaking from what you think you understand.
No.
And from a place of what you've seen. Globally, I given examples from, again, I get what you're saying, that I might have looked at this from like my parents, and that's how I'm choosing to look at it. But it's not. It's also, I had a friend that got married traditionally. Muslim, bride price. That was a girl. I had boys going to girls' families with their intentions. Their intentions being bride price. Your intentions would be words to my dad, because in Western culture, in Irish culture, in UK culture, that's what you do. So my dad expects that in your culture, you go with words, but he would be going, those are just words. Put your money where your mouth is. But also he understands, because we've had this conversation, that that's a load of crap, because that's not how we are as people. So whilst you might sit there to him and go, Michael, I'm going to marry your daughter, I'm going to propose, and I'm looking here for a blessing, he's thinking, this is so silly.
He's thinking, how much can I get out of this guy?
No,
he's not.
Yeah. But do you know, so it's, again, so can you see how even on our side, culturally, we can look at something like you going to ask for a blessing and permission to get married to me? Because again, why should you ask permission to get married to me? I'm not a commodity. That's Western culture. I think that's stupid. I think you can ask for a blessing.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do that anyway. I wouldn't do that.
You just do it. But that's generically, again, that's still done in Western culture. You wouldn't do that.
Yeah, we'd get rid of that too.
Yeah, you'd get rid of that.
So,
but that's still my example of you will do that to show your intentions as a symbol of your love for me.
Yeah.
So you're proving that even when you don't agree with something, whether you would abolish it or not, there will be certain things you will do because you understand the significance of it symbolically.
Yeah, but I would still, in this context, get rid of it all.
Yeah, that's fine. But that's where I'm saying you would get rid of it all in this context. However, you'll be going to my mum and dad with a plate. Whether that's Monopoly money, whether it's £1, you will still be doing that because you understand that on your end, whilst you don't get it and you don't agree with it, there is an importance to it. But that importance is that intention of, I might not get all this crap, but I love your daughter and I love you guys. So here's a plate.
Nah.
You can shake it.
It's all about money.
You say it's all about money, but...
It's all about money.
You're looking at everything so generically. It's not all about money.
That's what it boils down to, and that's where it came from.
But I've given you the example of how you're going to do things. You don't agree with it.
Yeah.
And yet, because you have genuine intentions, you genuinely care about me and my family, you will do them. That's what it's about. So
No, it's about paying a family money to buy their daughter.
no, it's not.
100%.
Well, alright. You don't like saying we'll agree to disagree. However, to those of you watching / listening, we'll see when the time comes and what you do. Because if you didn't agree with it, you won't be doing it. And yet, you will do some things you don't agree with because you love me.
But still, I would get rid of it.
Yeah, so you'd get rid of it and I choose to keep it.
You're happy for women to be bought and sold?
No, I'm not happy for women to be bought and sold at all. Because a man will never own me. A man will never own a woman in my life. That's not how it works. But I can bet you now, if Eliza brings a man home, I will be going. Right, what do you bring to the table? I might not ask for money for it, but I will be making sure I know what a guy brings to the table. Because I know she'll be able to look after herself. We'll be able to look after her. So she's not going to waste her time. If we have a daughter, exactly the same.
Oh, she'll waste her time on some loser somewhere.
Oh, of course she will, because we can't, like... It's a rite of passage, isn't it? But, yeah. Fabulous. Alright, so... No to bride price, yes to bride price. The genuine meaning of bride price. Yeah. Right, how long have we been doing this? Because, oh my god, that's actually quite a while. This was supposed to be a really short one.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, that will do. Right, we won't do an Am I the A-hole? We'll save that one for next week. Or the week after. But, happy days. A nice debate there. I quite enjoyed that.
I think I won.
You definitely did. It's not about winning and you didn't win. Definitely not. Because if anything, I'm going to be able to show this lovely audience when the time comes. I'll be like, engagement ring. Because again, I don't even want an engagement ring, not a diamond. Like, everything I say, it's all about the symbols. So, when the time does come, I'll go either moissanite or lab diamond. I will go, oh, geez, bringing a plate. Oh, here's my kitchen party.
Well, you wanted an engagement ring.
I do want an engagement ring.
Yeah, but you just said there I didn't want an engagement ring.
No, I mean, I don't want diamond. I want an engagement ring to all the single ladies buy. But I don't want... again, this comes to money. I don't want you to spend a stupid amount of money on something that is a symbol of my love for you and your love for me. Because again, that could be anything. Any type of rock. But we're going for moissanite or lab diamond.
Like gravel.
No, not gravel, because it needs to look nice.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I can't wait to prove you wrong. Love it. Right, thanks you guys for watching, listening. Genuinely, if you've got any comments on this, definitely do let us know what you are thinking and if we did make sense, because I guess I like these topics because they are a part of our life, but there's so much to think about that I think people just also take for granted. But also everyone looks at things from a different point of view. So, yeah, I find it interesting anyway. But, yeah, we'll see everyone in 2 weeks' time for the next podcast. Bye.
Goodbye.